Hi, it's Matt from Go Green Autos. So here we have a Renault Kangoo electric van. This one is a battery owned 22 kilowatt hour van, and it's in this really nice metallic silver. So it's a bit unusual because majority of vans come in white, very few come in any colours, and even less so in electric. So this is a medium wheelbase van. It's got the parking sensors at the back, which not many have, and we've got the eye there to show it is battery owned, so there's no lease payments like there is with majority of older Kangoos. And in the back it's ply lined, and we have this racking system, but of course that can easily be whipped out if you don't want it. But we've got some shelving there and at the top, and then here we've got some sliding drawers, 3 sliding doors that you can shut up with that bar. And here in the back is the charge cable, the AC charging cable. That's standard type 2 to type 2. So these vans charge on AC only, they don't have a rapid charge function, so they're no good for the long distances. But if you had a wall charging unit, or you would obviously use this on a public charging post, these charge at 3.6 kilowatt AC maximum. So typically you're going to charge overnight, or do top-ups throughout the day when you're not using the van. I can also supply a portable charger, often called a granny cable, and that allows you to charge the van on a normal main socket. They do take slightly longer because they can only draw 10 amp, whereas that will draw 16 amp. But a van with a battery of this size, it will always be charged overnight. And I do a free loan on those, so you buy the cable with the vehicle and use it for up to a month until you get your wall charger installed. And then if you don't want to keep it, you can return it to me and I'll give you a 100% refund, hence why it's a free loan. But many people end up keeping them. They're very handy cables to have, particularly with a van, because it means when you're out on site working and you're not using the van, you can just plug it into a socket and you can charge up. And obviously with electric vehicles, that's what makes them really easy, because you just charge when you're not using them. And at the front here is your charge socket, standard type 2 AC. So on these vans, well, on all Renaults actually, this has a habit of snapping, but it's nicely lubricated and still working on this van. So the purpose of these videos primarily is to show you the condition. And if you see my videos before, you know I point out every little single stone chip, scratch or mark or any negative I can find, and then that gives people the confidence to buy the vehicle without coming to view it first, and the majority go like that, and then I deliver the vehicle to you. So I don't hide anything, there's absolutely no point. I want people to know exactly what they're buying. And you can go on the website and you can see testimonials from other customers, and you can see the feedback I get regarding the service. So let's start at this edge and walk around. Very little to show you on this van. It is in cracking condition. I have put brand new tyres on the front. The tyre tread depths are on the website as well. There's a couple of minor scratches to the wheel trims, that one's all good, but these Kangoo vans have, the ZE ones have rather protruding wheel trims, and they do have a habit of getting caught on the curbs, but that one's all good. There's a little scratch there, about 1.5 inches. I would also say that it's all polished as well, so it's nice and slippery and smooth. Looking down here, there's no dents at all. It's in really nice condition. A few minor scrapes on the plastic wheel trims, but you know, hey, it's a bit of plastic. The bumpers are all nice. The only things to note around the bottom, there's a little scratch there, there's a scratch there, but there's a little dent here in the door. That one does show up a bit more, and there's 2 scratches there. And we've seen inside, but yeah, inside is all really tidy. There's a few dents on the back of the doors, which you're always going to get where stuff moves around inside, but yeah, the ply is all really tidy, and of course you can whip that out if you don't want the racking in there. Continuing around this side, I don't think there's really anything to show you actually. There's a bit of scraping on the spokes on that plastic wheel trim. There's no dents down here. Is that a scratch? Yeah, there's a little scratch down the bottom there, 1 inch scratch, but I'm being really picky here, it's a van after all. the wheel trim on that side, I think that's a brand new wheel trim I put on that one actually. And front bumper is all pretty much scratch free, which is unusual. Normally they get a bit of scratching low down. The only thing to note here is there's a sort of little scuff here in the paint just above your charge flap. And then being very critical, the badge is starting to peel, which they all do, but actually it's far better than average. For some reason Renault couldn't make this blue effect stick. The blue effect means it's electric, but it peels off and slowly it will return to chrome. If you leave it long enough they return to chrome anyway, but Renault have given up on the blue idea because they couldn't make this last, so they're fitting chrome badges on them now anyway. And then looking on the inside, it's just in fantastic condition for a van. I've put new carpet mats in, but you know, inside it still looks like a new van, to be honest. And then looking round on the driver's side, the door card's all scratch free. It's just pristine inside, and as is the seats. These Kangoo seats have a habit of wearing and fraying because of the fabric is pretty weak, to be honest, but as you can see it's in cracking condition on this one. If I was to point anything out, there's a little bit of scratching around the ignition switch, which you always get. This plastic shows every little mark and people can't put the key in straight. And then there has been a hole here at some point. Something was obviously mounted here, but I've put a little blanking plate in that. Thing I would point out is there's a little rattle in this mirror. There's a little bit of play, but it's not bad enough to replace it at all. So when you slam the door it vibrates a little bit, but it's fine. It doesn't vibrate while you're driving. It's obviously been smacked at some point, but it all still works. There's just a little bit of movement in there that you wouldn't normally get, but nowhere near enough to warrant replacing anything or do anything with it yet. And then if I start it up, we can see here the mileage is 11,966 miles. So everything works as it should do, absolutely no fault at all. I've got two keys with it as well. This one's got the being a phase 2 van, it's got the nicer stereo where you get USB input and Bluetooth as well. So we've got a microphone up there. And yeah, it's a fantastic condition van. It doesn't have air conditioning. Most of these don't because it's an option on the Kangoos. But these do have preconditioning, so you can set a time on the dash what time you're going to leave in the morning, and then while the van's plugged into the charger it will switch on and put the heating on and precondition the cabin. So in the winter it will melt all the ice off the windows if it's that cold, and when you leave you disconnect, your cabin's warm, you've still got 100% range, 100% battery, and maybe you can do your drive to work without the heating on at all and give you maximum range in the winter. It's a really nice function. It's lovely to get into a warm vehicle in the winter, and you don't have to wait until you get heat while you're driving like you do with a diesel. And in the summer you can use the same function. Doesn't have air conditioning, so it can't cool the vehicle down as such, but it tries to, and it puts the fans on and moves the air around. I would just say obviously this is a battery owned van, and I've scanned the battery pack and the battery is still at 100% state of health, which is just fantastic. So there's absolutely no worries there. So I'll just show you the paperwork. It was missing the original book pack with this van, so I've got a replacement handbook here. So all we're missing is the radio book, but to be honest you don't really need a manual for the radio. We've got a service history printout from the lease company. This is only one owner, it's come from the lease company, so we can see here that no previous keepers, and the registration date is the 30th of the 6th 2016. And then we've got the MOT certificate, and that's valid until July 2020. So being 100% electric, you don't pay road tax currently, and if you're in London then this is obviously exempt from the congestion zone and the ultra low emission zone, and other cities are getting zones as well, so it has a huge benefit if you're going to drive this in a city. I know Oxford, Bristol, Birmingham are all looking at going the same way. And if you're in London and you're going from a dirty diesel van up to a full electric van like this, and you're a small business with under I think 50 employees, or you're a sole trader or a charity, then you could qualify for the Transport for London scrappage scheme. If you just Google TfL scrappage scheme, you'll soon find all the information. And you get a £9,500 grant towards the cost of your electric vehicle, whether it's new or used like this, and towards the insurance. So it's a great scheme. So just to recap, this is a metallic silver van. Obviously it's got the 22 kilowatt hour battery pack, and the battery is owned, and it is just in fantastic condition for a van. So I didn't talk about range, so this is obviously still got a battery that's at 100%. So you're looking somewhere between the 80 and 90 mile mark range in the summer. In the winter these do somewhere about 20 to 25% less because of the heating use, because it uses huge amounts of energy to produce heat. So in the winter you'll be looking something around the 70 mile mark. But with electric vehicles, it very much depends on driving style, so the full information's on the website. But these vans like sort of stop-start city driving or slower rural driving where there's lots of corners and bends and you're slowing down, because every time you lift off the accelerator you're slowing down on the electric motor and you're putting energy back into the battery. And obviously if you were to go out on a motorway and bomb along at 75 miles an hour flat out, you're never slowing down, you're never getting any regen back, and the range obviously it's your driving economy reduces, so you're going to get less range. But these are perfect sort of local delivery vans, and this one's just in fantastic condition. So if you're interested, then give me a call or email. I can deliver these anywhere in the country, and it will come fully charged and ready to use, and it will be delivered on a flatbed or a trailer. And obviously in these coronavirus times it can be a contactless delivery as well if required. One thing I forgot to show is the range meter on the dash. So looking at the dash here, if I just scroll through, we will see the range is currently showing at 75 miles. Obviously our battery pack is only just only half full. It's about what will be about 60% charged, and range meters are very much a guide only, because it's based on how you drive. But if I scroll round, see the average miles per kilowatt hour is 4.5, so that's what that was based on. So predicted range is very much based on driving style, driving economy, and as you see it's dropping down here because I'm not moving and we've got the ignition on, so the algorithm's knocking it down because we're not moving forward.